I'm excited about this session. My name is Justin Osborne. I'm NIAD's Retail 20 Group Moderator and Certified Master Dealer Instructor. I'm very excited about this panel, this breakout session with dealers that are successful in today's market on developing their digital marketing and their social media platform. How many of you have heard of social media? Kind of a hot topic. You know, some people are doing it, some people aren't. Listen, if you're not on the social media train or the digital marketing train, right now in 20 groups, I poll all my 20 groups and every meeting, and almost without fail, every dealer in a 20 group on the retail side right now anyway is 80% or more of their marketing budget has moved to digital, with many of them over 100%. So it's a great topic. What I'm going to do now is switch it over to this all-star panel we have from all over the country. Let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get into some great stuff. So Craig, we'll start with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Craig. I am a retailer in New Hampshire. I also am a YouTube influencer, so my YouTube channel happened organically. It wasn't overnight, it was over time. I would like to start with, again, raising hands. So a couple questions for you guys. I'd like to know if anybody has ever sold Ford Mustang. Raise your hand. Chevy Camaro, raise your hand, keep your hands up. Jeep Wrangler, Subaru, convertible, Corvette. Almost everybody. So the reason I have you raise your hand is because that's something interesting. Our business is interesting to other people. So it's not just the Ford Focus. There's things that we do every day that we take for granted that other people find interesting in our career path. And that is what my YouTube channel is. So Flying Wheels started with me doing an engine build one day that took me months to research and figure out how to do this. And to make it easier for other people, I documented my build. And that video went viral. And from there, I went to an auction one day and I bought. It was actually a really fun day for me because normally, I'll go buy the F-150s and I'll buy the Chevys, and this one, it was a specialty auction. It was there were Dodge Vipers and there were Corvettes, there were Lamborghinis, and I thought it was interesting enough to make a video of it and document myself, and not just say here's the car, but here is what I'm doing today. Here's who I am, and this is my job, and it's pretty interesting. So that one grew. I've done it on Escalades, and that Escalade has been long gone, but twice a month I get a call from people all over the country that want to buy an Escalade from me, not just an Escalade. They want to buy an Escalade off of me because they liked my video, they liked my channel, and I've built a brand. So I hope you guys got to see the panel today talking about YouTube. It was very informative. Mine's a little unconventional compared to what most people I would recommend to have a YouTube channel, but I would say absolutely it's necessary to have. People are using the internet, obviously. We're using social media every day. Having a YouTube channel for yourself and your business, it's going to go miles for you. And the best part is a lot of the growth is organic, and organic transfers to free in a lot of situations. So yes, I have the Cars for Sale and Car Gurus and Cars.com. Obviously, those are necessary. But when somebody reaches out to me that wants me to broker a vehicle for them and find something, it doesn't get any better than that. Craig, I want to find a red Corvette. Can you look for one for me? So that is what my YouTube channel is, along with building the business. It's 15 years of being in this business. Every time I find something that took me time to learn, I'll put that content out there. So it's quality content that's going to help other people, again, for free. So that's helped my channel as well. I'd encourage you to take a look at the Flying Wheels channel if you do have time. It's entertaining and, again, business related. And I would encourage you to have your own YouTube channel if you don't already. There's a couple quick things that I did want to discuss too. Having your YouTube channel creates brand loyalty. So if you're a Subaru guy, where was the Subaru guy? Raise your hand. If you're a Subaru guy, you make videos of Subarus, and people are buying you. So they're buying the car and they're buying you. So you're selling yourself on the channel and you're building brand recognition. So I was at the pool today, and a gentleman was at the pool with his family, and he came up to me and said, "Hey Craig, how you doing? I watch your channel, I love it." Which is flattering, yes, but he knows who I am on a semi-personal relationship enough to come up, shake my hand, and say hi. He knows who I am and what I do, which is pretty interesting if you think that's the world we live in right now. It's not about just the car advertisements at the pizza restaurant. There are so many ways to get your name out there for free. YouTube's one of them. I don't want to tie up the panel too long, but I do want to say this too. Make decent quality walkarounds for your vehicles. So you have a channel, you walk around, you show the ins, the outs, You take videos of the defects, because people don't want to just see the good, they want to see the bad. Every time somebody emails you, respond with a link to that vehicle. You saying, thank you for inquiring about this vehicle. Here's a walk-around video. Please reach out again if you'd like to schedule a time for a test drive. Also, we're following up with phone calls as well, but we push that email just to reinforce everything. So it's really important for you guys to get out there and create your own channel. Just a quick Google search on how to do that if you haven't done it before. It's fairly simple. Most just happen when you buy your cell phone and you have to get yourself a Gmail address anyway. So I would encourage you guys to go do that. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up. It's just been years of trial and error, doing a lot of things wrong, doing a lot of things right, people telling me what they like, lots of people commenting and tell me what they don't like. People are very, very easy to tell me what I'm doing wrong all the time, but I learn from it. So please feel free to come up and introduce yourself and ask a question if you have any questions.
Awesome, Craig, thank you. And we're going to come back and let him unpack some of that as well in this session. But next I want to bring up Chris. And Chris is going to switch gears on you. He's going to talk about some great things that him and his operation are doing on Facebook and how they're structuring and planning their Facebook attacks. So, Chris?
So my name's Chris Taylor. Thank you all for coming. I own Certified Auto Brokers just outside of Buffalo, New York. We're a little bit different. Social media is our focus. Digital marketing, we are 100% digital marketing with a real focus in social media. We take a more analytical approach to our social media. We collect data. We use data to target customers and target our customer base. We've developed a schedule that has really helped us build our social media brand. And that's one thing I think that for us independent dealers, social media can excel for us. I struggled for the longest time as we were trying to build our dealership in brand awareness and creating a brand. I mean, it's so difficult, and in most traditional advertising aspects, to do something like that, it's a huge money spend. But for us independent dealers, social media has come so far. It's given us the opportunity to, within a reasonable budget, to truly build a brand. And I can't express you how important that's been to the growth of my company over the last few years. Consistency, again, a schedule, being on there. I see so many dealers, post some great content one week. They'll post 3 times in 1 week, and it's good stuff, good content. They get good feedback, but then they disappear for a month. It becomes unimportant. And I think the number one thing that you have to do is set yourself a schedule, decide what your social media marketing is going to look like, and then stick with it. You're going to screw up, and then you got to correct it, and then you got to write that down and keep that schedule going. The schedule is changing all the time. The content of the schedule is constantly changing. I'm in a 20 group with Justin, and I did a best idea presentation on our social media marketing strategy last year. I was the winner. It's funny though, because I brought it back. I took it out here. I have it in my hand, and I was reviewing it today just to kind of get some talking points so I could bring to you something of good content. And what I noticed was half of it's just wrong now. And it wasn't wrong a year ago, but that's the world we live in. It's ever changing. It's constantly changing. And if you're not watching it and continuously developing it, you'll fall behind. And I think that's the pitfall for a lot of dealers is they don't stick with it. They don't, something will work, and then all of a sudden a month later it's not working anymore. And instead of figuring out why and what they can do to bring it back, they just give up. So don't give up. Set a schedule. Stick to it. It can really boost your brand awareness, as well as sell cars. I mean, we certainly sell vehicles through our social media marketing efforts, but I think the biggest thing for us has been our brand awareness.
Thanks for that, Chris. And then last, we're going to introduce Dare Saul. Dare's out of Arkansas, an up-and-coming rock star, growing like a weed. So, Dare, we'll let you talk about some of the things you're doing on Facebook.
Thank you, Justin. First of all, I just want to say that I'm humbled and honored just to be here. And my presentation is probably the least scientific. I've got like one ninja move that I'm going to tell y'all about that you're probably already doing. But just a kind of a backstory on myself. I've been in the business 7 years, and I started from ground zero. We started in a storage shed. That was my first dealership. And one car, $800 that we had to borrow, no money, no capital. I knew nothing about the car business. I bought some books online from an attorney in California that had written some books on how to be a car dealer. So I literally started from nothing and built ourselves up over a gradual process. And I feel like that Facebook has been a big key to that. First I live in a town of about 1,000 people. And I sell anywhere between 50 to 60 retail cars a month consistently every single month. We've built up national banks. We have a nice reinsurance company. We have a lot of things going our way. And it is not scientific. It is not by the book. It happened through perseverance. It happened through every day trying to get better at the craft that we are all in. So in 2012, we started our business, our retail business. We sold our first retail car August 4th, 2012. Immediately after that, we started our Facebook page. I have a town of 1,000 people. Now, I don't know how many Facebook followers you have, but to me, that's everything. Because I built my brand over a gradual process. I have 13,225 followers. I have a town of 1,000 people. I'm sure you guys have probably more of that in some areas where there's metropolitan areas. But I feel like that now that is my audience. And every time that somebody goes onto my page, we want them to be a follower. Every time that somebody likes our content, we want them to be a follower. That is my town now, wherever they are, whether they're in Las Vegas, whether they're in Colorado. That is my town. It's not the town of 1,000 people. We're a national dealership. I believe you can be too. Now, we do specialize in a niche market. We're kind of a truck market, but we sell everything. And we really did it from our shoestrings from the ground up, and very, very blessed. You can ask me a question about what we do about our booths later, but we just did it through a gradual process. And I think that's important in anything that you do in life is not giving up, and is having a plan, having a schedule, sticking to it, having a YouTube channel, sticking to it, beating on that craft every day, knowing that you might not get a follower this week, but eventually you will, and that'll compound. It's a compounding effect. It's like making money, right? It compounds itself. And in a digital world, you have to compound your dealership and compound your brand, and I feel like that we've done a decent job at it, but we're still growing.
Thank you for that, Dare. I'm going to flip back to YouTube. Craig, I got a question for you just to get more granular, and that is, raise your hand if you have a YouTube channel. Really? Okay, raise your hand if you don't. Hi. Raise your hand if you don't have a YouTube channel. I think one of the things that I see, because we do a lot of digital marketing workshops at NIADA, is it's hard to figure out how you can sell cars on YouTube. Does everyone agree with that? How do you sell a car on YouTube? So, Craig, if you could tell us, if you're just getting started, you don't have a YouTube channel, or maybe you've got one, you're trying to figure out how to get traction on it, what are some of the fundamental first steps that a dealer would do? One, do they have to be the face or not? Or could somebody else in the organization be the face? And number two, what are some takeaways? What are 2 or 3 things that they could write down that would be fundamental things to go home to really gain some traction on YouTube?
This is a fun topic for me because I actually enjoy this part of my job more than I enjoy selling cars, because I like speaking to people. I like people actually caring what I have to say. I think that's interesting. And there's something that I've always wanted to do and haven't really been able to do, and it's synergy. So you could post a video on YouTube, but that doesn't mean anybody's going to click on it. I mean, there are millions of videos out there that literally have 0 views. So you're wasting your time if you're not doing it correctly. We can make great content, but if nobody's watching, what's the difference? The way to do that, like I said, is synergy. So it's all platforms of social media, which, again, I like organic growth because it typically transfers to, again, free, and I like building a brand. So, again, people know Craig from Flying Wheels. They're buying a car from Craig from Flying Wheels, and when they call me on the phone, they get Craig from Flying Wheels. Not everybody is going to have that in them. Not everybody likes to have their face on camera. Not everybody likes to scroll through their social media feed all the time either. But there are people that do. Think about if you have kids, they're on their tablets, their phones all the time. If you have teenagers, if you have college kids, they're probably more proficient in social media, YouTube, Instagram marketing than you are, and they're already on their phone. So if you're not good at it or you don't feel comfortable with it, find somebody better than you to do that job because it's there. Now, to move on to that question, you can make a video, but nobody's going to watch it. What's the point? Move it over to other social media platforms. So all of my Facebook friends know that I'm a car dealer. I don't inundate them with car dealer videos and, hey guys, buy a car from me. But every single one of them knows that I have 3 kids, knows that my wife drives a Toyota Sienna that I love, and I can sell the heck out of a Suburban because I know I sell what I know. So people think of me when they think of cars, friends, through Facebook. And the way that happens is if I post a new video on YouTube, I'll share that to my Facebook page. So now I have my business Facebook page that people are following. You have your followers that are watching your channel when you post something. Now I'm at the point where I'll do, I just bought an Audi S5, and I did a video on the Audi S5 from start to finish. Posted the video, 20,000 something people within the first week knew that I have an Audi S5 for sale. That's long-term growth. That doesn't happen right away. But I built it to that point that 20,000 people for free know that I have an Audi S5 for sale now, which is just unbelievable. That blows my mind that we're in a time that this can happen for us. I would say make yourself or that person known. Share your videos so it's not just on YouTube. We can talk about YouTube, promoting your YouTube channel and your YouTube videos as well. That's probably a different topic. But if you want your growth, you can advertise with YouTube as well. I would definitely recommend making your videos and then transferring them to your Facebook page as well. And then that will bring people back over to your YouTube. So if I post it on, if I make the video on YouTube and I put it on my Facebook page, it's a clickable link. So the Facebook video is different than a YouTube video. Facebook is on Facebook. The YouTube link is on my Facebook page. People click on it, it sends them right to my YouTube channel. They get to see all my other videos. So it brings them over directly to my YouTube channel. Hopefully they subscribe and they can look at my other inventory, my other videos, and it just keeps growing from there. And the fun thing is once the ball starts rolling, once it snowballs, it grows rapidly. So I just checked, from the time I walked in this room to the time I sat down, I got 6 new subscribers on my channel. And it took a long time to get there, but YouTube will start pushing things out if you make the right content for you, and which, again, will help your brand and help your business.
You know, one of the things I see, and Chris, we'll bring you up to talk about your schedule a little bit. One of the things I see with working with dealers so often is the 2 things that you want to do when you're working on social media is to educate and entertain. And Craig, you mentioned this right before we got started. You want to educate and entertain. So a lot of dealers are like, well, what does that mean? How do I educate and entertain? What's some examples of that? So we were scheduled to have Brandon Reeves here. Unfortunately, he's not here to speak with us as well today. But Brandon Reeves has an interesting story that every year at Christmas, and about 5 years ago, he wanted to raise bikes for a local charity. And it was just something he wanted to do because he's a very good-hearted man. And he wanted to raise bikes, so he didn't promote it, but he had this goal to raise 100 free bikes. And so he got a porta potty put on the top, he had a flat roof at his dealership, put a porta potty on the top of his roof, and climbed up there in the middle of December. This was around Christmas time, and committed to staying there on the roof until they raised 100 bikes donated by the community. And the next year, he said, man, we raised 100 pretty quick. I bet we could raise 250 this year. So he did the same deal. Of course, at this point, it's the second year. The radio station's starting to pick it up. The TV station's starting to pick it up. You got this crazy car dealer up on a flat roof that's staying up there. And for days he's staying up there. Well, he raises the 250 bikes. The next year, he's like, we're going to get lofty. We're going to get a 500 bikes. And by the way, these bikes that are being donated are being stacked on the showroom floor. And imagine what this story is doing for the local community interest. I said, Brandon, Craig, I went to Brandon and Chris. I went to Brandon. I said, are you putting any of this on Facebook? Are you doing live feeds on this from Facebook? He goes, no, you think that's a good idea? I'm thinking, oh my God. My man. So anyway, Chris, would you talk to us a little bit about more in depth about the variety of ads that you're running? You're on Facebook. You're running and talking about educating and entertaining. You've got Justin involved doing live feeds. You're doing giveaways, carousel ads.
Absolutely.
How do you figure out that mixed bag?
Through trial and error. and that's exactly what it is. So I'm gonna get kind of nitty gritty here on our schedule, just to give you an idea, a snapshot of what our social media advertising looks like. But we're very deliberate about it. Every Monday we post our price changes. So every vehicle that was price changed, we do a carousel ad price change that goes out on Mondays. We do 4-car new arrival posts. So it's 4 different posts, and you've all seen that ad. That goes out on Tuesday. That's the first one's no charge ad we just posted to our page. The next one we spend a little bit of money on. On Wednesday we do a single car aged unit. On Thursday we do, on Friday we do our Facebook Live Pick of the Week. And then we have a ongoing finance ad. And that schedule runs exactly that way every single week, every single month, and it's been going on now for a couple of years. And the ads themselves change. Facebook is constantly developing new ways to help us. Facebook wants to see you successful, because what happens then? We spend more money with them. So they're constantly developing new ways. So those ads are going to change, but our schedule never does. And I think that's incredibly important. Like our Facebook Live Pick of the Week, I am not like Craig. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be in front of a camera. That's not my comfort zone. It's just not. But I've got a salesperson that works for me. He's been with me for years. He's fantastic. He's dynamic, and he does a really good job with our social media in terms of developing these little videos that he does. Well, Justin has become a well-known person in Buffalo, New York. And Buffalo, New York's a fairly good-sized city. Just on these every Friday Facebook Live Pick of the Weeks. I'll go to the hairdresser. I'll be getting my hair cut, and one of the girls will come over and be like, "Oh, I saw that Infinity when Justin," and everybody knows Justin. But again, the key to that is the consistency. Every single Friday, those followers know that they're going to see the Facebook Live Pick of the Week. Every single Friday it happens. No matter what, that Facebook Live Pick of the Week goes up, and that's incredibly important. As is, the people that are following our page and wanting to see our new arrivals, the people that are following the page and want to see, has the price dropped on this car? I know that's going to post on Monday. That stuff, that consistency is just, you just can't say enough about it. It's incredibly important. Off that topic real quick, and the one area I think that people can get a little scared of social media. There's several areas to be scared of social media, but it can be a little intimidating. How do you create these ads? If you're not on Facebook right now, if you're not, even if you are on Facebook, but you don't feel like you're doing it right, you're probably not. But I cannot stress this enough. Ad Manager, okay, that is your best friend, and you need to spend some time with it. But Facebook has done a tremendous job of developing a training program for us to learn how to use this tool effectively. Get on there, check out Ad Manager. If you're not doing social media marketing right now, or you don't feel like you're doing it right, if there's one pointer I can give you, it would be to spend a couple solid days. It's not you can't go on there for 30 minutes. It's going to take some real commitment from you. But if you get on there and you go through their training, you're going to be a good social media marketer, and it's not going to take a ton of time, and it's free.
Yeah, I do want to point out too, Chris, because I'm familiar with your schedule. Not only does Chris run ads every week, he has a plan, and it's usually consistent. So on Tuesdays, they may run the new arrivals. On Wednesdays, check this out. On Wednesdays, they may run oldest age unit. How for you retail dealers, how's that sound? Every Wednesday, put your oldest vehicle on there because you got to get rid of that vehicle. But also for buy here, pay here dealers. We got any buy here, pay here dealers in the room? For the buy here, pay here dealers, Chris, I know you guys spend a portion of your budget that's based on a finance type ad attraction. So one of the things that we're seeing on Facebook is there's no better ad to generate people top funnel on Facebook than some type of an ad that's trying to attract the bad credit customer. Now, Facebook's made put a lot of obstacles on the verbiage and the text that you can use on that these days, but that's a great ad. I know you guys used to run that ad every day.
Well, and to that point, I'm going to get into something that's honestly a little new for me. We're probably only 6 months into the use of good data, and we're really digging deep into this, and this is going to be kind of the next frontier of solid social media marketing, is making sure you're marketing to the right customer. okay? So we do a mix. We're not buy here, pay here. New York makes that very difficult. But we do a 50-50 mix of subprime and prime lending. And for a long time, I struggled with how to advertise to my subprime customers while not alienating my prime customers. Social media makes it super simple. If you can get that data, and there's plenty of places to get that data from. We're using Oracle right now. You can take your social media marketing campaigns and you can direct them to those customers. So your subprime customers, you can direct a subprime message to, and your prime customers, they get the prime message. And that is, how important is that, right? For the longest time, I stayed away from subprime because I had a good prime business, and I just didn't want to. I've seen that happen before, where all of a sudden, through traditional advertising, you start marketing, heavy subprime, and then all of a sudden, your prime business goes down. Well, now I can effectively market to both categories. I can effectively market to the truck buyer. I can effectively market to a whole. It's absolutely endless in terms of the data that you can use and tie right into your social media marketing.
Also, and Dara, right before you start talking about boosting posts and how you have a niche dealership and how that's been effective for you, make sure you understand, and I think we're getting there with the dealer body, that on Facebook specifically, there's 4 main ways that you can advertise on Facebook. There's 4 main ways, and they're really independent of each other in a lot of ways. You can grow organically, like Craig is doing an excellent job of growing organically by educating and entertaining. That's number 1. The second way is to boost posts, which Dare's about to speak to. The third way is that you can do paid ads, which Chris is talking about. And the last is the marketplace. Raise your hand if your inventory is on the marketplace. The number 1 way, the cheapest way next to free, that you can put your inventory online and get a response or an ROI on. So those are your 4 primary ways. Dare, would you speak a little bit about your niche business and how you guys are taking advantage of boosting?
Yeah, so I do this at every time I talk about my Facebook business. But if you don't mind, you're on your phone right now. You're on Facebook. If you can find my dealership, it's D3 Auto Sales, the letter D, the number 3 Auto Sales, and just kind of give you a visual of what we're doing. So, Ads Manager, I've been there. There's so much there that you can just get lost, and I get lost, and I'll end up spending some time on something, and then I'll never complete it. So what we're doing is we're boosting posts. And that's all we're doing. We're spending about $5,000 a month boosting individual cars. This is like my only trick. These guys are way smarter than me. This is like my only trick that I've got. We're boosting each individual car. And it's mostly a lifted truck that we've put nice big tires on, that we level, and we boost that thing. In Arkansas, I am an Arkansas dealer. We want to draw everybody in Arkansas to my small town of Central Arkansas, Des Arc. And we will boost that thing and shoot it out there, and we may spend $300 on one truck to boost that thing for a week. And what that does is that does 2 things. Well, a lot of times people are liking that truck. So they like that post that we've boosted. And you say, Dare, what if you don't sell it? You've wasted $300. What's your return on investment? When they go and like the picture, you can go and click on and see who's liked that picture of that truck. And you can invite them to follow your page. So some stranger wouldn't like your truck if they didn't really like it. And you sell a lot of the same merchandise. So you want them to be your follower. So just invite them to like your page. It's as easy as falling off a log. And you can literally do like 50 at a time before Facebook will stop you. Wait another day and you can do 50 at a time before Facebook will stop you. Go back through your old post. Look at the content that people have liked and invite them to like your page. It's like a magic bullet. We implemented a Facebook counter. Okay, some of you guys have probably seen this scroll through your news feed. It's awesome. Like it's like $500, $400, and $500. Everybody in my 20 group bought one after they saw it. But
raise your hand if you got the counter.
Yeah, who has a Facebook counter in here? Everybody in my 20 group. Okay. So we hung it on the wall, and it goes through Wi-Fi, and it's in real time. So if you guys have followed or just liked my Facebook page, there is a counter in my store that will uptick those likes. Every customer that comes in the store, ask about it. I mean, it's just the coolest thing. We just absolutely love it, and I think everybody in the 20 group can verify that. I think it's pretty cool. But those likes, that's our business. That's our town. Am I saying all that right, Justin? And we just continually boost those posts. And once we sell that rig, if you'll notice, the other kind of content that we post on there is people's sold picture. Once we sell a vehicle, we ask them if we can post their picture of their sold vehicle. And a lot of times we will boost a post. The very next picture is someone buying that truck. So we can use that money on another truck and on another truck. And we can have 10 campaigns going. We spend about $1,000 a week, 10 or 15 campaigns going in 1 week. And we're really getting a great turn time on that and building a lot of followers along the way.
That's great stuff. One thing I would like to pose to the group, and we'll also start to open it up for questions if you've got questions for any of these three up here as we kind of move to the backside of this presentation, and that's spending advertising dollars on Facebook or not spending advertising. Actually, let me not say Facebook. Spending advertising on digital social media platforms or you're doing it organically for free versus some of the more traditional third-party digital advertisers like your Car Gurus and Cars.com and some of these other advertisers. Is there a difference there? Are those all in the same bucket, or are they different? What do you want to speak to that?
I'd like to talk about that for a second, and maybe not quite to that exact point, but following up on what was just said, one thing that I just think, if you're sitting here wondering, how do I do this? How do I do it effectively? I don't want to waste money, because money can be very easily wasted in this segment as well. To Daryl's topic, developing an organic developing an organic following is incredibly important. It can be tempting, especially early on, to go out there and buy your likes through different, Facebook will allow you to go buy your likes through different ad campaigns. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to not do that, because that is damaging to your marketing efforts, and I'll explain to you why. You go out there and you buy your likes. Those are not your customers, okay? Those are people that Facebook got to like your page through a handful of different ad campaigns and things, but they're just not your customer. What happens then, though, is that your ad spend from that point on. So you can boost your posts, and that's great, but all of a sudden, if your ad spend is, Facebook does a great job. They take your customer base, they take your followers, and they use that to determine who you're going to advertise to. That's very, very effective. It is not, in fact, it's counterproductive if your Facebook followers are not your customers. They weren't developed organically. So I just stress to you, create good content. That will get people to like your page, that'll get people to like a post, and then go on and make sure to request those people to follow you. And that's how, over time, you can start to really see a rise in your organic following. Your ad spend will be much more effective if that's the case.
Yeah, these dealers up here that you're hearing, they're not beginners at social media. I would call them more intermediate to advanced. But if you are a beginner, if you're just getting started, or if you're not really getting much traction on Facebook specifically at the moment, here's a couple of things to go home and do for sure. Number one, the very first thing you want to do on Facebook is make sure you have a business manager set up. And a business manager is not a position or a title. It's the back end of Facebook. It's where you do your ads. You got to have a business manager set up so that you can schedule out your marketing. Number two, once you have a business manager, you've got to set up a pixel. And setting up a pixel is key. If you have no idea what you're doing on Facebook, if you're just not there yet, if you have no idea what's going on, and you have no one that can run it for you, and you have no interest in doing it, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, go home, set up a business manager, and get a pixel added. A pixel is just a little piece of ninja code that you put on your website, and it gives Facebook insight to everybody, all the traffic that's coming to your website. You're giving Facebook access to see everybody that's coming to your website. And it tracks all that. And when you have a pixel set up on your website, whether you're running ads or not, it's continuing to track that data, so that when you are positioned to begin to make a move on Facebook for marketing efforts, you have all that pixel data stored. And so because it banks it and it remembers it. Craig, I'm going to flip back to YouTube for a minute. On YouTube, you've been successful building a brand. I don't know if you mentioned that you have I don't know, how many subscribers do you have right now?
Right now I have 22,000 and change.
That's a lot. That's a lot of subscribers. Getting subscribers on YouTube is more difficult than likes on Facebook, if you know what I mean. So that's huge. You've done a great job building a brand. People know who you are. Can you convert on YouTube? And if so, how do you do it? Or what's some of the ways you can do it?
Can I convert to sales? Yes. Absolutely, yeah. So,
question?
Do we have a question? Okay, so the first thing I'd like to just continue with what you said is branding your business and getting people to subscribe or follow or like your pages, because these are long-term customers. If we think of, obviously I'm going to bring it up again, but the car gurus and cars.com, those are typically one-time buyers. One time they're going to see you or look at it or click on your website, and you might not ever hear from them again. If you can get them back to your Facebook page, back to your YouTube channel, and get them to subscribe, they're going to see what you do every single time from then on. So I do it with email as well. When I get an email from somebody, I save their email into my contact list. Now I have 10,000 plus email contacts that I can blast out, because all of those people, each one of them, had an interest in something I did or had. So keeping people long term is so efficient. Instead of just going out and farming for new leads over and over, your social media will keep people involved in you and your brand. So they'll think of you, they'll think of me, they'll think of Flying Wheels, and every video I have, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, hey everyone in the YouTube world, it's Craig from Flying Wheels. First 3 seconds. So they know my name, they know my business name. 10 million plus people have heard me say my name's Craig from Flying Wheels. So I'll go places and they'll say, hey, Craig from Flying Wheels, which is, again, fun, but it's just so efficient that people know Craig from Flying Wheels sells cars. 10 million plus people know Craig from Flying Wheels sells cars. And again, that might not be everybody's thing, but it's important to have somebody out there that can get people back to your social media pages and then follow, like, and subscribe. And I also add that to all my videos. So I say, listen, I'm giving free content, I'm giving free information. It took me a long time to learn these things. Do me a favor and subscribe so you get some more free information. So now I'm asking people not just to subscribe, but giving them a reason why they should subscribe.
Yeah, Craig,
Yes.
great job. On the YouTube, 22,000, which is a lot, do that help diminish your advertising budget? And also, at what point do YouTube pay you for having those many subscribers?
That's the best part. So I get paid by YouTube. Every single month, I get a direct deposit into my bank account from YouTube. It's unbelievable. It's fun, and it's just a really nice extra income. So YouTube, once you have 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's 4,000 watch hours, you can monetize your channel. It's an extra source of revenue if you do have a good brand and a good following. So people actually do, I like to think they care what I have to say, because they do keep watching my videos, and every time they watch it, it's just another deposit into my account, which is a lot. It's a lot of fun. I do advertise on YouTube as well. A lot of it is organic growth, and it's because the channel's fun or informative, and I try to produce quality content, and I speak to people. So it's not me just selling somebody, it's I speak to them through the phone. So if you're watching my video on your phone, your tablet, your computer, you feel like I'm talking to you. And that doesn't have to be, you don't have to do what I do. You can do what you do. Everybody in this room is different for a reason. Your dealership is different from the guy right next to you. And I would recommend definitely speaking out to people and then asking for what you want. So give them something for free, and they should reciprocate back generally. Yes?
In your experience with Facebook and boosting, what would you recommend the angle be? Would boosting for impressions, for boosting for clicks, boosting for targeting, conversions? When your experience, what have you seen most strong results?
My YouTube boosts are very different than Facebook and Instagram boosts. YouTube, if I have something very specific that I want people to see, I can target them and I can pay to have them come over. If I just want to, I have a running ad for my channel that's out every single month, and it's who I am, what I do. It's quick. We lose focus very quickly. Everybody does. So the video's quick. What do I do? Who am I? Why you should subscribe? Thank you. And that is constantly running, generating people back to my channel. And then once again, yeah, it's interesting that I bought a Dodge Viper at an auction, but what's more interesting is that that person cares that I had a RAV4 that same day. So I bought a Dodge Viper. Oh, I also bought a RAV4. That same week, someone calls me on the RAV4. That's probably not somebody even interested in my cars.com placement for the RAV4, but they saw it, they called me on it, and bought it that way. So there's a lot of things that go together that kind of eventually flow as you keep moving.
DR, I think he wanted to hear about Facebook as well. Could you speak to the boosting, the impressions, and those analytics that you're looking at when you're boosting on Facebook?
Okay, so when I said it's not scientific, it's not scientific. I get into Ads Manager and I get confused. But to simplify it, I go out there and I do all this myself. So when you're seeing this content, it's either me or my sales manager. My sales manager posts the sold pictures, and I post the content that I want people to buy. And I'm hitting the boost button. I'm hitting the boost button, and I'm selecting how much I want to spend, how long I want that ad to run in people's news feeds, and where I want that ad to run. Most of the time, I just pick Arkansas. It's broad, we're rural, it hits a lot of people. If you're in a metropolitan area, like these guys, you might want to select Boston. You might want to select San Diego or wherever you're from and target that community, that market. And once it's sold, take it out, boost another post. And that's how we've done it from the beginning. It's probably not, we probably can do a lot of things better like videos, but that has really, really worked for us. I can say that the guy today that bought the Silverado, he saw it on Facebook. He came, he bought from a boosted post.
So this question would be for the whole panel, and I guess across all the different platforms. So one of you had mentioned good content, and so that would be what my question would be about, is aside from I have this car for sale and congratulations to this customer, can you give an example of some of the content that you guys are putting together that's unique or good, which you would classify as good content?
I'll speak to that. First off, and one thing I think maybe a year ago, I think we're getting away from this, and thankfully, but I had heard from many social media marketers, quote unquote, that we shouldn't be selling cars on social media platforms. You got to be giving the people good content. That's not true. Sell cars on social media. It can be done. It can be done very effectively. But also creating good content is very important. And what is good content? Good content is anything. We're very, very involved in our communities, as I'm sure a lot of you other dealers here are. And every single time you do something that has some community involvement, that's something you've got to put out there. You should be proud of it. You should want other people to know that you're doing that. You should want to encourage other people to do that. And that it's, of course, it's a very, very strong content, and usually does very, very well. We recently started another project, and that is collaboration. Collaboration is absolutely huge. The companies that you're currently doing business with, okay, you're already doing business with them. When I take a truck down to Kenzia Tire, Wheel and Tire, and I have them put a lift on it, put wheels and tires on it, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to link Kenzia Wheel and Tire, I'm going to check in, and I'm going to post this awesome project that they did. And now I'm getting my viewers and Kenzia Wheel and Tires, who does a fantastic job on social media. I'm getting their viewers, and I'm creating this awesome content in that way. That right there is a huge strategy to our recent success on social media as well.
Let's give these dealers a round of applause for sharing their secret sauces with you guys.
Thank you.